Defaced Studio, welcome to Origin Stories.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. So my first question, I got to go right into this. Defaced Studio, are we going with, that's kind of your Superman identity. Are we going to go Superman today, or are we going to go Clark Kent?
We can do Clark Kent. We do Clark Kent.
All right, so
He's
who is Clark
welcome.
Kent?
Kane. I'm Kane. Kane. Yeah, that works.
All right, Kane it is. Okay, I had to get that out of the way because, hey, there are some people out there who like the alter ego, want to stick with that. So I wanted to be sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, human's human.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you on. I told you this off recording, but you were someone whose art that just exploded in my face. And when I found it, I was immediately captivated. I think you have one of those styles that is uniquely yours. And
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And as we'll get to later, you may have multiple unique styles that are yours alone, but we will get there in due time. The first question on Origin Stories is exactly that. Take it where you want, when you want, how you want to approach it. Kane, what is your origin story?
I'd say, I think I remember having a drawing in my mum's wardrobe. So you open up a wardrobe and there's a drawing on, I think I must have been 3, but it was just this circular oval. I got it in my head now. It's a scribble, probably pink and blue, green, this oval with 2 dots in it. Fucking mean mug. And I was talking to my mum later. I was like, why have you got that in my wardrobe? Is that all you draw? These faces, which are just close to demented. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't the sun and all that shit. So I think that's, if we want to go to there, that's where we're beginning. And I got some old drawings of the Thing from Fantastic Four, Spider-Man. Yeah, brilliant. So all these, I think the skill of drawing started fucking tiny, but I think the next probably landmark is moving to digital art. So it's probably around 10, and you'd have Paint. I'd have Club Penguin up here and Paint.net up here. So that would be like the most primitive form of Photoshop you could imagine. So you with the mouse, like just fucking trying to get a good circle, and it's like, but just there and just dabbling in there. I think it's like playing video games. Now you see 13-year-olds competing at Fortnite tournaments, but the way their finger dexterity and the mind connection to the keyboard and all that, I think that start infusing you to the technology you're using at that young age. So from there, I started probably picking up Photoshop and dabbling about in that, and still drawing and trying to sell stuff like logos. I had a company when I was, say, 13, like not a company, but like buy my logo for 30 quid or whatever, and I was trying to get out there on social media, like asking my mum's friends, like, do you want a logo for your cleaning business? Do you want a logo? DMing people and all that shit. So just trying to get something going. But then I probably started off more with a graphic design background in Photoshop and Illustrator, and just trying to sell stuff. I had, I think I tried to sell T-shirts on Facebook called Real or something like that. I had that. Then I've had something called Fat Bear Graphics, and then after, when I was 16 at high school and we finished, I was like, well, I don't want to go to fucking university. To get to university in the UK, you have to go through sixth form, which is like 17 to 19 or something. Then you go to university. And I was like, okay, I don't want to fucking do it. I hate school. Get me out. So I got the opportunity to work in a digital marketing company. So what they do is they would take a company's Facebook page, Twitter, and this, and then promote stuff on there and try to grow their numbers, basically. So I was going to be working there and do some graphics, and they were like, I was just sitting there and sort of like, this is all right. So then I was there for 7 months, I think, working. I got on all right, but I was sitting with the boss. We sat on the same table. He'd come in, he'd like go to London and come back in, and we were sitting there. I was looking over at his computer, just reading his fucking emails. It's like, if this is the top of the company, I don't want to fucking be there. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're in the same place. I was like, he's not doing anything. He doesn't look like he's having more fun than I am. So what? So I was like, okay, well, I guess we'll go back to school then. So I was back at school for another 6 months, and that block hit again, and it's just like, I can't fucking do anything. Like, you just feel like you're just getting drained. Like, I can't fucking do this. I can't follow this path. So inevitably I said to my parents, like, can I try freelancing? So you want to stay at home on your computer and try and sell stuff online? I was like, yeah, pretty much. So I was watching a lot of Garyvee. Gary Vaynerchuk.
Man, Kane, our
Yeah.
relationship keeps getting better, right?
So that's
one
my
of my
bread and
guys.
butter. That's
Yeah.
my bread and butter. So to get that wheel turning, it links to my dailies now, which I do. But just that fucking mindset, just fucking being a dog and going after it, just day in, day out, just making stuff, and get you on that wheel, just pumping out content, which is, I think, how I've grown. But then I've been doing that for 2-3 years now. So I started off in graphic design, selling logos, then just dabbled in illustration. Then my fascination with that grew, so I just sort of transitioned into that. Then more illustration, then more drawing and painting to where we are now, I'd say. So then I've had obviously some landmark projects along the way with companies that I've been hired by. Yeah, so I was mainly making my money through illustrations last year. Then where we are now, where crypto is a massive chunk of my life.
There's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack there. First of all, first thing, I love the mindset. I love the mindset. From such a young age, when you were faced with the prospect of school, you made your own decision, right? And you saw something. You said, I can't do this for XYZ reasons. I need to go here. Tried that out. Didn't necessarily like that first path. Went back. Like you said, hit that block again, and then charted your own course up to the present day. I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, it was almost like I didn't get a choice in the matter. Like I wouldn't say it's depression, but that sort of feeling you get when you're just having your life force sucked out of you. Like I remember being in tears about it, just because I can't keep doing this. Like this is not fulfilling me. Like why am I even living if I'm doing this shit? Like I don't have any interest in this. I don't care about this. So I think it's almost just how I am. Like I can't do anything else. Like if I do anything else, it's just like I can't fucking work there. I can't do it. So I just got to do what I want to fucking do. Do you know what I mean? It's like I can't. There's no other option. So I think then that mindset sort of fused with the Gary Vaynerchuk stuff, and that sort of propagating his messages of, yeah, you can fucking do this. Yeah, fuck what they're saying, and do what you fucking want to do. So I think once I latched onto that message, I'd fucking brainwash myself. Like I'd work for say 8 hours and have that on in the background. Like I wouldn't listen to fuck all else. I wouldn't listen to any music, any podcast. So yeah, you fucking do this. And I'd listen to the business talks and listen to this and this, and you're just bombarding yourself with these messages of like, I can fucking do this. And I'd be talking to my dad like, yeah, okay, so we're looking at this time scale to do this, and we can probably do this. Then I want to grow my business here, and you just start flourishing, but you don't get taught that. You don't get taught that.
You know what, man? I'm going to clip that piece. I'm going to send that to Garyvee, if you don't mind, because I think that he would really appreciate it. There's a specific reason I think he would really appreciate it. He says all the time, and I'm sure you know, because like you said, you were inundating yourself with Garyvee messaging, but he says all the time, put this down, stop listening to me, go do it, right? Go do it. And I love the interplay of you listening to that messaging while you're doing your craft.
Yeah.
And I just think he himself would appreciate that so much, that it wasn't you passively listening. You weren't lying on a bed or driving a car and just kind of nodding along, right? You were in there working your craft.
Yeah, I believe I've took that template to where we are now. So I'm working on a piece. You have an art documentary in the background. You're just constantly taking in information. Like I was listening to this podcast, and there's recently it was talking about studies into addiction to your phone. So we can't put down our fucking phone, right? We can't put down social media. So we obviously have the lottery thing. So you pull it down and you get a dopamine hit. But you also have foraging. So years ago would be foraging for berries, and you get a little bubble here of information. You go over here and get a little bit of information. So we've took the berries and exchanged it for information. So we're going down these rabbit holes constantly. So I think I can't remember what I was fucking saying.
No, you're talking about content,
right? Content, yeah. So I think just taking in as much information as you can, and don't stop. And I think you'll fucking grow into whatever you want to do.
Yes. I mean, we might just be going off on a whole like self-improvement tangent here, but I think this is so applicable, and it's so actionable. And that's really the point. So that's number one thing that stood out to me. But let's go all the way back. So there's a lot to unpack there. I wanted to first shout out your mindset, your mentality. Now let's go all the way back. Your first intersection with digital art, like you said, you were trying to draw the perfect circle, right, with the mouse. What was the first piece of digital art that you were proud of, right? I'm going all the way, nothing that you necessarily sold, but just something that you created that you said, I've made significant progress. I am proud of that piece.
I remember there's one that stick out in my head on Photoshop. It must have been 13, 14, but I drew an astronaut. And I was like, okay, we could do something here. So I got the opacity down on the white, and you just start drawing. You're like, yeah, it looks like a fucking helmet and all this shit, and doing a little lighting marks. And you step back and you're like, yeah, mum, look at this. And you sort of start learning, because with painting and stuff, there's sort of little techniques you do with shadows. It's illusion. You're working on 2D and you're creating an illusion, which is what it is. So you start learning these little things and stuff start clicking into place, and then it starts applying everywhere. So I think that's the first sort of little feeling I got of that, sort of like bits of Lego just sort of slotting together. So I think that's a very memorable. I still got the image in my head, so I'd say
And
that was quite a memorable piece.
Is that a similar astronaut to the one that has now appeared several times in your work?
No.
Totally different.
I should have said yes, but it wasn't.
No,
it's
no.
different.
Different guy.
I
Totally
wish it
different
was,
guy.
but it was a different guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot more human.
But yeah, we'll come around to the different guy eventually, because he is a pretty cool little guy that's popping up in a number of different places, including a place that I'm very excited to ask you about, because I don't know what you have cooking, but let's stick with the origin story for now. So let's fast forward then to I dug up your first Instagram post, and I thought, was it your literal first Instagram post, or did you clear out some stuff prior to that?
Yeah, you guessed it.
so the first Instagram post that you left is September of 2018, and it looks like a sequence of logos.
Yeah.
Was that a cohesive project? Talk a little bit about that. Why did you decide that this is the first sequence of posts that I'm going to leave up there for all to see?
I think the reason I left it was to show people my fluidity, like going to that Bruce Lee quote, like being like water. So you just, if you go through, if you're Scott, which you probably did, you probably went through it, and you see this river, and it's like, fucking hell, he went from this to that to this to that, and you're like, fucking hell. So I think it's important to show people that, like, because I get people messaging me like for their school projects, can you answer a few questions? Can you answer? It's like, if you go back from my fucking work, I wasn't doing the same thing for years. I haven't been doing my craft very long. I've been painting for like a fucking month. I've been doing 3D for like a couple of months. So this shit is all new to me, but it just shows you like your work ethic has got to be top priority for whatever you fucking do, music, whatever. It's just work ethic. So I think I haven't verbalized it, but I think that's probably why I left it on there.
Yeah. Look, so speaking of that river, I like that you refer to it that way. You go all the way back and you see that first logo project, several of them. And then you go a little further. There's clearly a phase where you have these, large background, small logo in the middle, right? You go through a little phase there. Then there's a phase where there's predominantly black background exclusive, right? It's a whole chunk of post, black background, color pop off that. And then as you get into present day or closer to the present day, all of a sudden the black background drops away. There's a lot of colors and vibrancy and different things going on.
I think what it is, I think I quite like the idea of eras. I quite like the Pablo Picasso idea of going Cubism, Blue Era, and sort of, I think I can't remember who I was listening to, but it was someone, as an artist or something, saying it's okay to dabble somewhere for a little bit. You don't have to keep going on and on, but you can stay there. You can sit there. You're comfortable. You don't have to keep fucking pushing yourself and grinding yourself down to create something new, because you can't. If you're doing something every day, you can't do that. It's not possible. What I've found is it's fucking extremely difficult. So you can sit somewhere. So I sat in that style for a little while because I fucking enjoyed it. People seemed to enjoy it. I got a good response, and I could still, if you go through from the bottom, the black one, you start to see a development in shadow and stuff and gradient and stuff. So you can, anywhere you're sitting for a little while or a style, you can sort of push yourself. So I just, I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure why necessarily, but I enjoyed it. That's all I can say really.
It works. And you've already made it through so many eras, right? And from my point of view, it seems like you have many, many eras ahead of you. And I mean, I am thrilled to see where that all goes. Let's get into some of your eras as we shift into the crypto art world. So I guess, all right, so Instagram is one thing. I would suggest everyone walk through your Instagram account because it is pretty fun to go through that river. What's the first moment that crypto art specifically, NFTs, minting something and selling that thing, when does that come on your radar?
I think you're going to get 20 people on here who are going to say the same thing, but I think Loopify was a massive.
Nice.
Because I think we come from similar design community, and you also have mutual people. So there's obviously like so many degrees of removal from everyone. So I remember seeing that. He's messaged me on Discord. He's like, "Can I talk to you about something?" I was like, "Yeah, go on." He's like, "I've got this crypto art thing." I was like, "Okay, that's cool." Whatever. Month go by, and it's like, then you see more on your timeline. More, you're like, "Fuck, there's got to be something in this. There's got to be something in this." So then I just started getting into it and just seeing what it was about, asking questions, and fucking, yeah. I think that's where it started.
That's where it starts. Yeah, shout out to Loopify, doing a lot of great things, building in the space, collaborating in the space, just constantly in there doing the thing every single day. So a lot of respect there. You have the conversation with Loopify, you see things picking up, you're seeing more and more people enter the space. What's the first moment? So it's the first piece is on Rarible, do I have that right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
And was that Divine? Or did you drop multiple pieces at once? Because the thing with Rarible dates is it's tricky. It says months ago as opposed to literal days ago. So in my visual, it looks like Divine and Amalgamation may have come out at the same time, or they were closely separated.
I think so. I don't think I had a fucking clue about scarcity. So I was like, just fucking put it all there, put it on there. Like my dailies, I was like, yeah, just get on there. So obviously, I think you're right. I think Amalgamation was the first one to sell. Then I think Divine might have been the first one. I don't know 100%. This is my honest answer, but I think you're right. I think you got it bang on there.
What I have to do here, I'm going to make it a point because I am also a huge fan of Loopify. I'm also a huge fan of Giannis of the Museum of NFT Art, right? And on the Fvckrender interview, I did not mention that he owns Fvckrender's Inception on Super Rare, right? So I wanted to make very specifically clear that the Museum of NFT Art has Divine, right? Has Divine, which it's either the Inception piece or it's one of the couple Inception pieces on Rarible. So Giannis, we got you. Yeah. So that was great to see though. And I thought that those pieces specifically, Divine and Amalgamation, out of all of your eras, that was the era of yours that I found first. That to me was the Kane, the Defaced Studio style, right? And since you're experimenting with many, many other things, but that was the style that I saw that I said, this is unique. This is his. I need to learn more about this.
Yeah, man. I think when I look at that period of work, I do think I was starting to play with a lot of different concepts and it all started tying together. I think all sort of my references and inspiration sort of fused in that, and I think my skill set was up to a level where I could express what I wanted to do visually, and I think that is one of my favorite periods of work when I go through it. Yeah. And
then you bring some animation in there, right? And then you brought, so I saw Trick or Treat, and nice day, right? So some head switching on the Trick or Treat.
Oh, that's clunky, isn't it?
It's not though. It was I liked it.
That's in Photoshop, frame by frame. I was moving the fucking picture like that much. I was like, fuck this. There's got to be a better way to do this. But I've done that piece around Halloween. I was like, this would be cool if I do a drop for Halloween. I was just sort of chucking stuff out. There wasn't much thought going into it. It's just like people like this, and make it available for people, and a few of them sold. And I like that. I still use that Trick or Treat part for reference. Like I'll go back and think a lot of time in my work, I go, how do I do a skull like in my style? Like I'm like, how did I do that? Then I'll go back and I might even steal it because it's all my own work. So I'd take bits from different eras and chuck them together. It's like if I'd done a good build in there, I might chuck it forward. And I heard Beeple referring to a similar thing where he used a lot of assets and from his old work and new work. And yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. One of my favorite things is exactly that. It's taking, a piece that you're proud of, that means something to, whatever it may be, however it stands out to you, and you pull it back and then you do some sort of an update in your current style. It's almost like a clash of eras.
Yeah, I enjoy doing it, and it saves a lot of time. Like a lot of people ask, "How do you ever fucking sleep? Do you ever fucking do this? Do you ever do that?" It's like, yeah, I do. Obviously, I do. I've got the same amount of hours in a day as you, but it's how you use them. Like, are you fucking? It's like I don't need to make that again. Like if I made it once, I don't need to make it again. Like, especially if no one will fucking notice. Like it's like, well, fuck it. Do you know what I mean? And it's my style. It's in my style, so it's like that. That's fine. If you're gonna do a skull, you can do it the same way. You can tweak it. It's whatever. So.
And it makes sense because you've already put the work in to build that asset, right? And you're stacking something new on top of it. So to me, that just sounds smart.
Yeah, 100%.
Collaborations. So in the interim after that, so we go all the way back. We have Divine, we have Amalgamation, you have those first couple animations. And then there's a couple really interesting collaborations. There's one on Super Rare, The Colorful Lecturer, and then there are two, I guess, collaborations with two different people, two different artists on Rareable. Is it Petio or Petio?
Yeah, one of the two. I've read it. I've never said it.
One of the things I'm finding in the crypto art space, we interact so much on Twitter and online.
Yeah.
And then now that I'm doing the interviews, right, and the live streams with Parrot, it's blowing my mind how many names. I'm like, is it this or is it this?
Hasn't Fvckrender got a V in his name?
He does.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said his name. I'd go, how you doing, mate? Yeah, you're right, mate. I was like, Fvckrender? Yeah. 100%.
But well, so whichever it is, those are some pretty interesting collaborations. So maybe, I don't know, pick your favorite one or two collabs, either the ones on Rareable, the ones on Super Rare, but what stands out to you at this moment?
I really liked working with Petio. I think he actually he's in France. He works in on movies in France, like small indie movies and stuff like that, I think. And he uses 3D like software to make 2D animation. So I've been chatting to him. He's like, just send me these files because I've already made the piece. He's like, just send me it and I'll play with it. And I was like, yeah, right. So I send it to him, and I'm usually like, I don't either expect anything back or expect it to be a bit shit, to be honest. Like, I'm like, it's probably not amazing. But then I got it back. I was like, fucking hell. I was like, this is really good. And then we were chatting again, and I was the one with the slide, the little character on the slide. I was like, fucking hell, how has he done that? That's so smooth, and how he's looped it. I was like, that is exactly what I had in mind. Like when I was making it, like that movement, I was like, but he captured that, and I was like, fucking fair play to you, mate. So we put that up, and that was a really special one, I think. Yeah.
And then how about the one interesting one, just because it's different, right? And sticking with our theme of different eras and different different collaborations in this case, the Colorful Lecturer on Super Rare has that really interesting, turn the frame around and then turn it back again, and then you have the colors and the circles exploding towards the viewer.
A lot of the time, I collab. I was like, yeah, I got a collab with a lot of people, so I was sort of like, I just want to get it done. Next thing. So I was like, okay, here's some assets. I was like, what do you need? I was like, do you need this? Do you need this? And I'll just provide you with this, like my visual language. So then you put it in your context. Yeah. So I was like, okay, so you need a sun. Yeah, you ought to do a sun. You ought to do a moon. You ought to do a face. So I'll just give you a little, Then he comes back with that, which is what you obviously saw and I saw. I was like, fucking hell, this is really interesting. Like this narrative you've made. So I didn't have a lot of part of in that. It's just my language on top of his narrative he's created, which I thought was a really cool way to collaborate. Do you know what I mean? Something a bit different. So yeah, I really like that piece.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, still out there for someone.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe a lot of them are.
Yeah.
Well, there's no scarcity going on.
No, but there is. I think there is scarcity going on because of the era concept and because of the collaboration concept. That's your only collaboration. And I need to actually pull the artist name up. Do you recall?
Not off the top of my head.
I'm gonna pull this up. I want to say Ambiguous, and I could just be getting completely wrong.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah.
I have to make sure to get that shout out right, because that's that cross collab is the only one that exists.
Yes.
And I'll tell you something. I watched that and I saw, okay, we have Defaced and Ambiguous, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, who owns this? Immediately I'm thinking, who owns this? And then to see that was still, I was like, uh-oh. that may not last for too long now. So that's just a random thought there. All right, then I want to bring our worlds together, because I had seen your Twitter account, and like I said, your art hit me in the face, and I said, I love this. I love what he has going on. But I didn't yet know, and this is my faux pas, my mistake. When I found you, it probably took 2 or 3 full weeks before I understood that you had NFTs for sale.
Right.
Like, really, I followed you. I'm looking through your Twitter. I'm thinking this guy's really talented. This is incredible. I'm thinking to myself, I hope he comes into crypto art one day. Okay.
Yeah.
And then when the pieces came together, you announced that you were going to be dropping something on Rareable. and
Yes, 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 yes.
it was your anime series,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? When you announced that, I said, number one, I thought that was your first ever, right? So I
Yeah.
dove, so then I dove into Rarible and I dove into Maker's Place, and I said, oh my gosh, he has NFTs out there.
Yeah.
Then I started to do my proper backwork, but then simultaneously our worlds collide on two fronts. On Rarible, I was fortunate enough to collect your anime, like the 3-step
Yes.
sequence, and then on Maker's Place, and we'll get to Maker's Place in a second. But yeah, talk to me about the anime drop.
I think it come from just my dailies. So I was like, what can I sort of tap into here? I'd like Naruto and stuff. So I thought, yeah, we can do some of that. And Giannis was commenting in Loopify, like, yeah, we fucking love these. I was like, okay, we'll do a few more. We'll get everyone involved and people like them. And so I started a few more. I was like, fucking hell, I've got something bubbling here, this little thing. I was like, well, we could put out multiples because someone was like, you should do one of ones. I was like, yeah, but I want a few people to sort of interact with. And when I was talking to my friend Surreal Serpentine on Twitter, and we're like, what do you think I should do? It's like, we have to do a few here, a few multiples of this amount, a few in that amount, so everyone can sort of get them. And so we went for that model, and yeah, I was really chuffed with you collecting them and people like them. So yeah, that was just a sort of little thing that sort of bubbled naturally. If you
Yeah, I think series are fun. I enjoy
Yeah.
those. You know, especially if you really appreciate an artist style and you see an opportunity where, you know, different pieces, works of art tie together in some way, shape, or form. It's like that extra motivation to build the series, to connect the dots. And I think in the future, one of the things that I've said a lot is as home displays get better, and as you can do more with the digital art on your walls, and or in the metaverse, right? As the metaverses get even easier to interact with, even easier to build within, the ability to display a series custom to how you want to visualize it is a really attractive concept.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
So one day I look forward to putting the anime 1, 2, 3 punch up in.
That'll look good.
Yes, it will look really good. It will look really good. So hey, let's jump over to Maker's Place. I'm excited. You're doing a lot of incredible things there. And then to finish connecting our dots, the first piece of yours that I found, I know I mentioned the Rarible anime strip first, but the first piece of yours that I found that I absolutely just mooned over is Starman.
Yeah, what can I say? I think that's probably one of my most prized pieces. Like I fucking love that piece. Like so that is one I was on a streak on a tear of learning Cinema 4D, and I was just like, how far can we push this? I got a pretty shit computer at the moment. I'm waiting to get a new one, so I was like, okay, how long can I sit through these render times and get something fucking good with the animation and all this? So I made this character because I dabbled with like the Starman character and the different variations of which, and I landed on this bit more simple one without like all the. I've done another one with like sort of eyes on the top, like sort of Elmo looking headpiece and all this stuff. So I got to like more stripped down, like something like more mine. It felt more like this is a bit of fucking me here. And this ties back to that era of the black backgrounds with the isometric sort of shapes coming and pushing into them. So that has always been like a staple, and it's quite easy to do in Cinema 4D since you just get a shape in and put it down, and so you start to build this sort of staircase, and it almost looked quite melancholic. And I thought that sort of contrasted with the bright colours and all that. And you have this little guy sitting there just looking at the fucking floor, and you're like, what? Then I was messing about the animation with all the blocks coming back and forth, and I was like, fucking hell, this just needs something to tip it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so then I looked at doing a bit of sound, messing about with sound, and I got this sound effect, and I reversed it and like edited it, and then you get this sort of nice loop. I was like, fucking
yeah,
I'm proud of it. I'm really proud of that piece. I'm glad you got it.
Me too. I absolutely. It just jumped at me, and once I realized it was out there and nobody had collected it, I'm like, I gotta get in there. I gotta make sure. And I even love how the blue circle drops back and it custom sits in the yellow circle. Kind of looks like almost a planet, you know, as it drops back. So yeah, that's just brilliantly well done. and that is the first piece on Maker's Place. And then from there, it looks like you dropped the dog as well,
Yeah.
which not the same, but a similar feel to it, right? A similar
Yeah.
animated feel to it.
Yeah. With that, I really like. I'm now looking at it now, but I really like the design of the dog and the person, and just that small, indiscreet sort of movement. And yeah, I think it sits nicely. The colors, I don't know. I just have I like that piece as well because I think it's all from a similar era, and I'm quite fond of that because it's a bit of a learning curve, that sort of era, where I was making a lot of work there. And I love that piece. It's meant to be me walking the dog in some world.
Yeah, it's perfect. And what these two represent to me, just from my humble collector opinion, is it's that signature style of yours that I found first, that I thought this is Defaced Studio, right? And that goes back to the rareable pieces, divine and amalgamation, right? That style. This looks to me like that trademark style brought to life. Like it so clearly has a home there, but then you add that layer of animation on top of it. I think it works really well.
I think that's what I'm interested in my future endeavors, is just pushing the envelope. I've had some contact with a company in China who do displays, so they'll have these massive fucking cutouts of your work and either inflatable stuff in the middle of a city or something like that. And I just thought, fucking hell, this is going to be the next sort of where we're pushing it. Do you know what I mean? Into reality. Like, I think it's cool seeing it digitally, but I think being able to bring it to a more feasible level, like the 3D, and obviously we were working on the toys and stuff. But that sort of breaking these barriers between just digital, like the digital art where I started, like the 2D sort of style, and just keep pushing it. But how far can you push it? Do you know what I mean? So I think that's where my interests lie, like in all assets and areas.
So can we? I want to jump for a sec. We still have your paintings to discuss. We're going to get there.
Yeah.
But you just mentioned it, so maybe it's a convenient time to jump, especially since it ties into the Starman piece. What can you tell us? You've teased some things on Twitter. It looks like you're developing some kind of toy or collectible.
Yeah, right. So there's still a lot of work to be done. We're looking at a couple months. So oh fuck it, I'll say it on there. Fuck it. So basically, there's basically going to be a one of one, which is going to be the main project I've been working on. So you'll get a piece. I'm not saying anything more than that.
Okay.
With one collectible, but that's going to be different to the rest of them. I'm not saying how. I'm not saying fuck all else. But then there's going to be a collection of toys which can be available to everyone. Not an NFT, because I've got an audience on some other platforms, and the translation is a bit something I've got to work out. So, but that'll be available as an NFT, that one of one. Then there'll be a number of toys which will be available separately, which I'll put up on my own site, and we'll try and sell on there. So yeah, that's been a massive part of my life for a few months, manufacturing them and taking responsibility for all that, and the design and the 3D model. So the whole fucking process, it's all been me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had a few people message me saying, "Where'd you get these made? Where'd you get these made?" I was like, just fucking do the research. Just fucking, if you want to do it, go do it. Like, it's doable. Like, if I can fucking do it, you can do it. So I've helped a few people out, but it's like, just fucking like get in there and learn about it, because everything's a learning curve. So I'm so fucking chuffed with how they turned out. I was like, when I done the unboxing video, and I was like,
it looks incredible.
Oh yeah, 8-inch. So I was like, yeah, I can't fucking wait for people to get these in their homes, and someone's gonna get that 101.
Now I'm excited. All right, so we have a little bit of time to wait for that, but a big suspense. You gave us a taste, but then now there's the suspense cliffhanger for what.
I try and drip feed. I'll see if I can I'll make some trailers and stuff and work on that.
It works. And I'll tell you, that unboxing, that was a good moment. That unboxing of the mock-up of I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know whether that's the toy, I don't know what's going on. But
that is what the toy is going to be. That is the initial sample I received with the color. They want me to check over the color and the quality, but it's fucking top notch on my end. And then it'll go into mass production. So it's got to go away, and they've got to make their custom mold and this, that, and the other. So more money, but I hope they do well. And yeah, we can just hope. But it's been such a good experience where this is what crypto allows artists to do. If I was working for a client, I wouldn't have the fucking time to go away and dabble in these other areas, which is the freedom, which I think I think when artists get money, that's what it should be put towards, is the fucking freedom to push yourself. Like, don't, material stuff's nice and this is nice, but focus on your craft and grow that. I think is my MO, like, opinion.
You're carrying that Garyvee mentality forward.
Yeah, but I think it's a muscle that takes work, and you got you got to learn. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm under NDA, but I got it on my website, so I don't really get why I can't say it. But I done a job for Apple last year.
Did see that?
Yeah, but it's good, but it's not crypto art. It's a great opportunity. It's like massive. It's like, but it's not that freedom and the ability to push yourself. Do you know what I mean? You don't get the parameters are set on like a horse with blinkers. Like, you can't look over there, you can't look over there, you got to do this. So crypto art is fucking great at the moment.
Feels like you're made for crypto art. Your whole personality shines in crypto art. It feels like it's the Wild West now. Like, so let's be honest, right? Crypto art right now, the NFT space is the Wild West. Like, it just is. And I'm sure, as everything does, and we talked about this a little off air, but like as it expands, as money comes in, as most industries do, they change a little bit. I get that. But the phase that it's in specifically right now, the Wild West, you, sir, seem absolutely ideally suited to fly high.
I appreciate it. I think the ability to capitalize on opportunity is fucking massive, and it's got to be done. If you're fucking, that's why I work so hard, because there's so many opportunities. And the difference between client work, I've had great requests this year for work, and I've turned them all down because it's like, oh, I don't want to fucking do this. This is not what I'm interested in. The money's good. It's nice to have money coming in, but I don't want to get my money from there. I don't want to rely on that water source. So I think the ability to pivot is fucking massive. And in this arena, you can pivot wherever the fuck you want, as long as you're fucking making something that means something to you, means something to other people. I think you've got to be a sharpshooter and fucking get all the opportunities you can and push yourself, which is what I'm trying to fucking do.
And the power to say no, right? Touched on something very important.
Yes.
If you have the ability to, if you can, either you're doing well enough or you can stretch to make it happen, and you can say no to something that, to use a phrase from yours earlier, that if you can say no to something that sucks that life force away from you, right? And stick with your craft, stick with the path. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that is a fucking superpower. You hit the nail on the head, and that's something I've been dabbling with, that idea. It is a fucking superpower to say no. Like, once you're comfortable and you can afford to get a fucking computer and you get an iPad and get this paint, and you can say no to people and you're comfortable with that. Like, I'm still not 100% comfortable. You don't know what's going to happen next month, but I'm confident enough in my ability and my work ethic that it will pay off. So you've got, obviously with art, you've got to have a bit of an ego, because you're putting stuff out there and people are going to fucking hammer you. Like, I have a TikTok account. I put this toy out and you get fucking lambasted by kids. These fucking kids, they don't have any, it's just like, this is fucking, you're fucking ripping off this person, you're fucking doing it. And it's like, but you just got to stay composed and fucking keep working. And I think if that's your bread and butter, you're going to do well. So see what happens.
Stay focused, right? Stay focused.
100%.
Let's talk about a different era. I want to talk about your paintings, because they absolutely took off. And you had two of my favorite collectors in the space got involved. I remember I was away that weekend, and you dropped those, and I was aware of the start time, and I totally lost focus on it. And before I knew it, and I looked back, it was over. It was all over. And I think it was Y. Kyman, right, who picked up
Matt.
Snoopy. Matt, yep. And then Snail Express, right? Snail Express, who grabbed the other two.
Yeah, that was a good night, man. That's I was nervous because they were obviously my first paintings, and I was like, oh fuck. I was like, what filter like them? And I was like, oh, I bet 40 minutes go by before the first bid, and I was like, oh fuck it, that's shit anyway. The fucking next thing. But then I'm like, okay, right. So a bid, oh, that's fucking good. Another bid, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
And so Snoopy went for 5.75 ETH.
Yeah, man.
Sad Snoopy. I should be accurate with the title. Sad Snoopy. But he was happy that day. He was happy that day, right?
Yeah, I've actually tweaked the painting. No, it's fucking amazing, man. There's not much I can say about it. So shout out to those collectors, man, because that gives you that freedom that I was talking about and the power to say no, which is massive. But they were the Sadlib one was my second proper acrylic painting. Like that was my second go, and I was really exploring the style. And I was watching some tutorials. I thought, I can't fucking paint. Like I can't do this shit. I don't have the patience to do this. I don't have any interest in doing this shit. So I was like, we just slap my in my bio, I work with shapes all day, like because I was just a bit quirky, isn't it? A bit interesting. So in Illustrator, my bread and butter is combining shapes to make these characters and pull them and distort them. So it's like if we can apply that concept to painting, we should be able to get something going. So what I was talking about earlier with Photoshop and clicking those bits of Lego together with the illusions, the 2D illusions. So I was like, okay, we can sort of start doing this. So I've got some early pictures of the Sadlib one because as soon as I got the colors down, I was like, yeah, this looks fucking good. I'll take a picture of that. And then the next day I'd look back and go, what the fuck was that? So there's a lot of layers of paint on there, and I was using the palette knife and scraping it on there and pushing and pulling stuff. And then I stepped back from it, and it was just a character on the blue background. And I was like, oh, right, there's got to be something's not clicking. Like you get a moment when you're an artist and sort of click, or I do, and I'm like, okay, right, get it out, it's done. Because otherwise you can spend too long dabbling. And I try to make daily, so I'm like, just get it to a point and get it out. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't fucking look at it again, it's done. So I was like, okay, we need something going on here. And I was going through a period of just stick my headphones in. I would usually listen to a podcast. I was like, yes, this is some jazz. You know what I mean? Fucking, why not? I was watching a Basquiat documentary and he has his bebop on. I was like, yeah, we could do something like that. So I was dipping the palette knife and I was like, and he's slapping the knife on and the painting's whipping off. And he's like, this is like, it's such a different sensation to working digitally. Like that interaction with you and the canvas is something that I really treasure because you're standing up, you're moving, your arm and your body is, you're not just fucking froze. So I was fucking, when I stepped away, I was like, okay, we got something. This feels different to what I've seen recently. And there's a bit of a contrast there in my head. I was like, we've got this character who's fucking, he just looks fucking fucked off. But the background looks like confetti. So it looked like he's had a surprise party and he's fucking disappointed. So I was like, okay, I like this this idea here, this contrast idea. So then I went to the next piece, which is the Snoopy piece, and I wanted characters with 2 ears and simple fucking head I could paint, which is the real answer. There's no deep, like, I picked this character because in 1933, there's none of that. It's just I could fucking paint it. So the Snoopy one was the next piece, and I wanted to, I was listening to Francis Bacon interview where he'd do a lot of work with triptychs, so the free paintings, and I thought, this works for me. Like I can get enough through what I want to say, then that's it. Then that's enough work. I don't get bored with the project, and that's enough. So I was like, okay, so what can we have differently? We can have the heads facing this way and have one in the middle. So then we get the next one done. Then we're like, okay, how are we going to make this work with another one? So we have one in the middle. So I think I've uploaded a GIF where you have the 3 panels like that, and if you switch to 2, you get a different narrative. So you either have the 2 in conversation or the 3 in dialogue, my bad, or you have them leaving the party, which is what this all started ticking over in my head. And I was like, okay, we could do this, and we could do a promo video. And I just go, when I like start fucking going, the hamster wheel just start ticking and ticking and ticking, and then you're like, go, then it's done. Then I'm like, okay, next thing. But that was my thought process in working through that first set of paintings.
It works so well, and I mean, you'd never know that you were so new to the medium, just like to that era, so to speak. It's so well done. The confetti is unique. It ties the pieces together, and I even like the juxtaposition between how immersed you are in the process to the point that you're thinking through how you're going to present it, how you're going to show people the triptych, right? And then how you have the multiple narratives. And then when you feel that you've presented all of that, the storyline, and then I'm done and I'm moving on. And now I'm letting you interpret it and interact with it. And then you are blitzing on to your next works of art. And actually, can you take us through the wall behind you? Because that has plenty of both art that is available now, as well as art that might be available at some point soon.
So I think we got what we got here. We got the paranoia one of the paranoia ones. Then we got The Yellow Dog copyright infringement, then The Martian, then the 2 Paranoia pieces. So I think if we talk about the Paranoia ones,
yeah,
I think that was like, okay, I want to do something myself, because it's like there's so much going on at the moment. Like, it's hard not to think about fucking COVID, and it's like, it's fucking, especially in the UK, it's fucking rampant. Like, we're on lockdown again. So in the UK we have Parliament talks every other week. So you have members of Parliament talking about issues, and you have the public ask questions on that screen, or like a media thing. So you have this dialogue. And you just think, what the fuck is going wrong? There's something not clicking there. Like, I don't know who, but this idea of blame start taking over, and you're like, okay, blame, right? So then you think, how can I express these like ideas and feelings? Like, so then we have the idea of paranoia, because it obviously it's a fucking disease, isn't it? And it's like, it's something to be healthily paranoid about. So that idea of healthy paranoia as well is something in my life. Like, even go at like I remember going clubbing before this, and just being out and just seeing people looking at you up and down, and just like, it's you got to have a level of healthy paranoia when you're in these situations, because you're with people who you don't know who they fucking are. They're intoxicated or off their face. And there was an altercation that took place with me and my friends, and you don't know what's going to fucking happen to you. So that's also a concept that I think about a lot, and being safe and looking after yourself. So I want to tie that. There's just ideas, but I sort of like pick out and sort of like gather and sort of like, okay, mold it and we'll put it out. So I was like, how can we do this visually? And I remember watching a video essay with Pete Docter, who's a Pixar director. So he worked on Up, he worked on Inside Out and multiple movies, and he was talking about shape theory. So in Up, you have you've seen it? You must have seen Up, and you've got kids.
House with the balloons, right?
Right. Yeah. So there's a beginning scene in Up, which is fucking quite emotional for an animated movie, when his wife died. And
yes,
and then you have Pete Docter breaking it down. He's like, right, so the picture frames on the wall. So you have Carl, the guy, and his frame's a square, and his wife's a circle. So you have this shape theory that's imprinted in fucking Pixar movies, which is like subconscious. There's some debate on whether it's like an actual thing, but you have the square, which is like a strong shape conventionally, and the soft circle. So there's that was in the essay, the video essay. Then it moves on to contrast. So what makes something work visually contrast wise? So you have Monsters Inc. So you have Sully, a big rectangle, Mike Wazowski, so a circle. So you have this idea of contrast. So I was like, okay, we could do something with that. Can we do something with that thematic wise? So I was like, okay, we can do something quite upbeat with the pink and the green and the blue, and tie that with a narrative or topic which is fucking shit for a lot of people, and uncomfortable, and doesn't want to be fucking, or if it is talked about, it's in fucking people going for each other's throats, like, do this, don't do that. And there's so much energy around that topic. So I was like, how can we capture that in a way which is presentable? And another massive inspiration for me is Jim Henson.
Yes.
So
Muppets.
Yeah, you could probably see that a little bit in the work with the noses, and I just can't fucking. I've watched so many documentaries, and I just like the visual language in that, and the iconography is fucking. You can't argue with it. Like Elmo, Kermit the Frog, like his images, which are in pop culture, are imprinted, but it's so well imprinted. Like Mickey Mouse, like I think they're that level. Like Disney have acquired them, obviously. So I was like, can we put a bit of Jim Henson in here? So I was like looking at the little eyes and the pink, almost like felt, and I was like, okay, this is coming into something. Then I was also into George Condo, who's a painter in New York, and his work features that contrast between cartoon and a narrative that doesn't want to be discussed. And his he'd done a Kanye West album cover which got banned, and his artwork on there was a cartoon, like a traditional cartoon, but the subject matter was controversial. So that's the thought process behind that series.
I like it, and I like that you went into a space that was uniquely yours, right? That it's like you explored the characters, right, that everyone knows really, really well, with of course that sad Snoopy taking the pole position on that one in terms of the most famous
Yeah,
of the three. But then it goes into the Paranoia series, which is your interpretation of a topic, and I love hearing that context. I love to hear you go through all of your influences and the different clips and documentaries that you watched and the shape theory and and then seeing, I don't know, that to me adds so much. Because when I look at it, I love it. I see your painting era, your painting style in it. But then when you're saying those things to me and I'm looking at the paint, I'm like, oh yeah, it is interesting how that influence came into it here, and that influence came into it here. It's it's a really interesting blend.
Yeah, and also something I didn't say was I wanted them to be all the same character, but almost fragmented versions of the same character. So you have slightly different eyes, or like, so where does blame lie? Where does paranoia lie? Is it in the self or other? Oh, so that's another layer. It's just it all sort of amalgamates in my head, but I never get to put it out verbally. I just like chuck the artwork out and go, yeah, you fucking, if you like it, you like it. But no, it's nice to speak to my thought processes, because it all happens and doesn't get any attention because it's all just in my head. It's just all random shit in my head. Yeah. So it's nice to verbalize and talk to you about it.
Yeah. Well, so one more. I have to ask you one more question. So speaking to the promos that you put out for the Paranoia pieces, they were in a tree, which I thought it worked so well. I thought this is a really clever piece of promotion. So I'm assuming you came up with that on your own, right?
Yeah, I went in the garden. I was like, I want to post this today. And I like doing the trailer because I think it adds another dimension and hopefully pushes the concept a little bit further in what I like, breaking boundaries. So you have a video and then painting and just sort of blur it all together, and the audio as well. I like playing about of audio and audio clips. So I was like, how can we do something quite obviously low budget, because I'm going to do it in like 10 minutes in my garden. So it's just like, got the hands in the bushes, so pulling stuff out and putting it together and sort of piecing this together, which is sort of how I got to the piece, pulling it from different areas and going back to the foraging and sort of foraging for ideas and putting it together and presenting it, which was in the tree. So that was sort of the thought processes behind that.
It comes through, and your Maker's Place page looks so nice with the triptych on top, and then the triptych right below it, right? One that's uniquely yours and one that's your interpretation of three characters.
Cheers.
All right, Kane, ready to play a game? Do you know the game? Lightning round.
Go on.
All right. So I feel like you're going to be good at this. I feel like you have the right approach for this. So I'm going to throw something at you, say first thing that comes to mind. If you want to expand on it, feel free, but otherwise we're just going to go boom, boom, boom. Okay?
Let's go.
All right. Number 1, crypto art.
Freedom.
Number 2, your favorite piece of art that is not your own.
Oh, fucking hell. I'm really into Francis Bacon at the moment, and I love his first triptych. Yeah.
Number 3, Kanye West.
Misunderstood.
And I'm gonna break my own rules and pause the lightning round there. So Kanye West, in all my explorations of your past work, he comes up multiple times, and you actually mentioned him not too long ago in this interview. What's up with Kanye West? Is he a big influence for you?
I think I'll go through his thought process because it's another idea that I'm working on. But I've always been interested in people who push boundaries, iconography, and imprint themselves on culture. So my biggest influences is from this sort of bracket: Bowie, Prince, and probably Kanye West. So what I was trying to think of a through line. What the fuck links these people? Like, why have they got such an imprint on culture, pop culture, society? Like, but I think a massive component of it is imagery, and they're fucking clever. So they're hardworking. They produce music which people like, and they have such strong imagery. So when you think of Prince, you think of the hair, the jacket, the motorbike, the album covers. You think of Bowie, you think of the fucking videos, his characters, his eras. And Kanye West, you have the fucking shoes, you have the album cover. So I think my fascination is with that. That's a big concept I like thinking about.
I appreciate. I don't know if you caught an interview of his that happened not too long ago on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, but yeah, I appreciated him I appreciated hearing him speak in long format, because I think if you hear him in short snippets, you know, that's where he gets that reputation. Oh, Kanye's crazy, or he's, you know, I don't know, he's not making any sense. But if you hear him speak for 3 hours, he goes off on tangents and loops, but ultimately makes a lot of sense, in my opinion.
I think as well, it also has a connection to me, because when I was younger, my dad used to listen to it in the car. So I think like you can't get away from like when you're a child and music and connections and stuff. So it's like, yeah, let him off. He's done this and that and the other. But yeah, I know. It's like, you think you know these fucking people. You don't have anything to fucking do with them, but you mentally like, like Conor McGregor example, what we were talking about off air. Like you form a connection to these people like through you know, I don't fucking know you, but you sort of see yourself in people and they reflect back at you. And I think that's an important thing to understand.
And to go back to, you said iconography, right? Like these people that are icons, you can't, they're so out there, they're so distinct, you can't help but draw connections. You can't help but say that aspect of his or her personality is something that either I aspire to or I believe I have in me. And it's helpful if you frame it right, if you use it in a positive way, right?
100%.
All right, let's get back to it. So you actually took the words right out of my mouth. Number 4, we have this connection in common. Let's go. We're going to go a 1-2 punch here, but UFC first. UFC.
It's a good. Me and my dad watch it, so it's like a nice bond, and it's at the end time we get to fucking sit down and watch something. So it's entertaining violence in my eyes.
Entertaining violence is a good way to frame it. Yeah. Number 5, Conor McGregor.
Fucking hell. Misunderstood as well.
Yeah. I'm assuming you've seen his documentary.
Yeah. Great. Every bit of footage, I'm like, yeah, fucking great. All the interviews.
Yeah. And this interview will be released after the fact, because I mean we are recording the day before the big Conor McGregor fight. But prediction for the Conor McGregor fight?
First or second round, I imagine. Knockout by Conor.
Knockout by Conor. I will actually double down, and I am with you on that. So let's see if we.
I'm not betting.
Number 6, Ethereum.
Freedom.
Number 7, shapes.
Language.
Number 8, what work of art of yours is being slept on right now?
That Paranoia series.
Paranoia series. Number 9, what other artist in general their whole body of work is being slept on right now?
Oh, there's a guy, I think Jonathan Wolf shared him, a guy called Corey Lamb. He's a painter. I don't think he's in the crypto space. He's done some galleries. I don't think he's very big. His following on Instagram doesn't seem very big, but fucking hell. Go check him out, Corey Lamb on Instagram.
Corey Lamb. I'm going to check him out right after this.
Yeah, man.
Number 10, your dream collaboration. Someone that you have no interaction with. In other words, like that, not that you have in the works per se, but someone out there that you would love to interact with and collaborate with at some point in time.
Alive or dead?
You know what? Let's do 10 and a bonus 11. Let's go alive first, and then we'll go dead.
Fucking George Condo.
Okay.
I like to collaborate with him. Then Basquiat.
That's a good one. That's a good one. You know, by the way, shout out Trevor Jones for our UFC connection, right? Our Conor McGregor connection. Yes. Right? Shout out Trevor Jones. But then to pull all of that together, the best, you know, are you aware the cornerstone of my own collection is the
Trevor piece.
Yeah, the Trevor Jones Basquiat. So that's cool. Man, all of these things that you enjoy, I'm like, I like UFC, Conor McGregor, Garyvee, Basquiat, like
yeah, man, it's
just going off here.
Yeah, it's good.
So Kane, as we wrap up here, and I know you already teased us before, right? We got into your plans. We know a few things now about what you might have planned in the toy and collectible space, but in general, your latest works up on Maker's Place are the Paranoia series that's being slept on right now. But what else is next for you? What else can we expect to see in the near future?
More.
Perfect. It's perfect. More.
Yeah, I don't know. It's improv.
You know, we're gonna end there.
Sounds good.
Because the whole way through all of your eras, it has been to me that theme hearing you describe it, it's been, you're taking in so much, right? But as we talked about before, you're immediately doing, and you're immediately not just literally copying those inputs. They're becoming this, to use a word, they're becoming this amalgamation in you that you then match with your own uniqueness. And it feels like, in the best of ways, you can't help but blaze trails in this space. And I think the perfect word is more, because in some ways, while yes, you're working on a toy, yes, you're working on a collectible, and you know some things, I imagine there will be era after era after era that you probably couldn't even predict right now, but that this whole path, this whole journey is leading to.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think improv. Yeah, you don't know. I don't know.
More improv, and you don't have to know, and we don't have to know right now, and that's the fun of it.
Beautiful.
Kane, Defaced Studio, this is our absolute origin story's absolute pleasure today. See nothing but big things coming your way, and we will be watching intently.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.